For those of you who don't know, man, this is the Skidoo Lounge, and for Spotify purposes, I do have to acknowledge that it's Gorilla, even though you guys do obviously see that it's Keaton. Today with me is I'm also here with my co-host Algo Audio, who's honestly the bigger reason why it was able to get pushed through and able to get this started. Even though it's on Twitter, we're also going to be releasing this on Spotify, and basically, man, we're going to get started. So with us is our guest, Dave Serapins. I hope I said that correctly. And yeah, man, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Keaton? Thanks for having me tonight. Some of my buddies, let's give it another 2 minutes because some of my buddies are getting some issues with some links. They're saying the link is not working, so I'm going to copy the link one more time and I'm going to send it again. Give me one sec.
You're good. The cool thing about this is the fact that, like I was telling you earlier, this is the whole experimental factor of it. And the Spotify version will be completely ready to go and rock it out by the end of the week.
Yeah, this is really exciting, man. So I just shared the link again. I think we're good to go, man. Let's get it rocking. How long are we gonna sit around?
I'm thinking about it. It should be about an hour. I feel like most of the people that are here know about, your service and so I don't want to bore them with that, but I do want to get into your business. I want to get into the Discord stuff. I want to get into how that bridged our connection. I want to get into, the fact that, man, a year ago, if you think about it, I was leaving the group and you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we were able to get it all worked back out and now we're together doing the first podcast episode. I think that's in itself an awesome thing, man. So,
yeah, honestly, I think that there's something magical that happened with our 508 community. The name was chosen after a former community broke up, and I think we had a member, a guy named Nismo, who was actually serving with 508 at the time, and we determined that was a cool name for this gaming community, for the game that we all love, Hell Let Loose, which has really brought us together. Like, I think it's probably the best milsim shooter that I've ever played.
Hands down. And then that's what's the crazy part about the people that it brings together. Like, I remember watching when you were a guest speaker, you came on there and I was watching your speech and I'm like, man, I play video games with this guy. Like, that was
like a couple months ago, right?
Like when you were doing I can't remember the exact name and I'm so sorry for that. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it was the Amazon Public Sector Symposium. And I think there's like 2 or 3 guys in the room right now. Jay Tweet for sure was there in person. So yeah, it was a good time. It was quite a wild experience and a lot of cool stuff that are coming from that right now.
Yeah, that's wild to think. And so, and that's where your company basically is. That at what point did you start thinking about or realizing that you could turn what you do in the military into a life outside of it?
Over 15, 18 months ago. I've always had want to become an entrepreneur. I tried, to be honest with you, when I was 17 years old, I opened up a telemarketing company selling N95 and CBRN suits right after the first SARS pandemic. And I was kicking myself in my teeth in 2020 so that company never went anywhere. I was 17 years old, I was dumb, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't make a sale. But imagine if I had been selling N95 masks for 20 years and then COVID came around. We wouldn't be sitting here talking. We'd be sitting here talking on a beach somewhere. So I learned a lot from that. And I was like, ever since then, I've always tried things. But I've been not stuck, but I've been very privileged. I've had very good jobs around in Montreal. I used to be a paramedic. I worked for an air ambulance company. I was a part-time soldier in 2012. Since 2012, I've been a full-time soldier. So I'm still active duty right now. So I got to be very careful what I say because I'm still subject to service discipline.
Right, of course.
So I got to behave, right? So versus I always behave because this is going to be on Spotify.
Yeah. Now, did you expect when you guys broke off from the 101A Discord group, did you guys ever think that the 508 would be what it is now?
Not at all. Honestly, Clem, Baron, myself, Ace, a couple of the real OGs, we honestly said we just wanted to play this game together. We just wanted to have a group of 6 dudes that could play in this game that needs a minimum of 6 dudes in a squad that communicate with each other, that have microphones. Yeah, we're all PlayStation guys, so we don't have PCs, so that's okay. And we didn't expect anything more. We just wanted 6 dudes, and then the 6 dudes turned to 12, turned to 20, turned to 40, turned to 175, 200, I think we're right now.
280 or something now. It's out there.
That's insane.
And that was going to be one of the questions, how many people you guys had in that group. I knew it was pretty large.
288.
That's
really 280? Is it really 280 right now?
Is it?
I don't know.
I'll have to double check that. Don't quote me on that. I do want to have to fact check that, but it's a lot, dude. Like,
Yeah.
When I came in, there was only like 110 people there.
Yeah. But you were there pretty much from the start.
Yeah, early on. Yeah, I was there early on originally, but like
summer 22, right?
Yep. And that's what you touched base on that about how you've done so many jobs, and that's one of the biggest things I love about this group and the connections that can be made outside of gaming. You know, whether it's in entrepreneuring, whether it's in artists, whether it's in music, whether it's in whatever it may be. The fact that whereabouts in Canada did you say you live at? Like,
yeah, I live in Montreal.
So like Montreal, like
North
I would have never met you, man. You know, so we would never be talking, especially not as we laid back as we are.
Yeah, like honestly, I think the gaming community has somewhat been a taboo subject. Like 20 years ago, my parents would always yell at me for playing video games. It was like, don't ever put that on your CV. But right now, when I ask and interview people, I'm like, you play video games, and which games do you play? Because it gives me an insight into what their mind is thinking, how they interact. Are they communicators? Are they able to think outside of the box? And I think it's very, very fascinating. So I think gaming has come a long way in 20 years. In the last 10 years, 10 years ago, in early Call of Duty days, it was toxic as hell, man. But
oh yeah, it still can be.
It still can be. But I think that what we've built here with 508, we've kind of weeded out that toxicity.
Oh, yeah.
And if someone's acting up, we're like, dude, do you really want to be part of our community where we're focusing on relaxing from the real world and learning to be part of something bigger than ourselves?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I like when we get guys from other units like Berserk, like there's guys from Berserk, or like we've had a couple guys that didn't stay, obviously, but the 21st, when they come over, they talk about like the Sentinel program, they talk about like the Skidoo Lounge, the networking program that we have now, like all these things that we offer as a group itself goes above and beyond just gaming.
Yeah, you're right. The Sentinel program's kind of cool because it was basically built. The Canadian Armed Forces mental health assistance thing is called the Sentinel program, and we had a couple of guys that have backgrounds in different militaries that have similar programs, and we wanted to reinforce that if someone wanted to talk, we're not medical professionals, but if someone wanted to talk and just have a shoulder to cry on or have access to resources, we made that available. And it's really cool that we have designated roles in our Discord server with designated sentinels. So if someone needs to talk about something, we have access to resources that are available for them in Canada, US, UK too, I think maybe France. And it was really, really cool. And I think it's been used. I think there's been times where I'm going to be honest with you, in the last 6 months, I went at least twice where a sit down with someone resulted in a person that was in crisis getting the help they needed, and then they were okay. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm really proud of that.
You should be, for sure. And we've actually seen that happen in the Discord group as well. We've had guys that's actually helped in big ways.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. We got about 16 people so far. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, starting to grow, yeah. People are interested in seeing who fucking Big Daddy Deimos is, man.
Yeah. So Deimos is very interesting. So this has been my gamer tag for the better part of 20 years. And the reason why it was my gamer tag, because 20 odd years ago, I thought I was going to become an astronaut, but instead I got lost and joined the infantry. So Deimos is one of the moons of the planet Mars. The other moon is called Phobos, and they're both the horses of the god of war. But at the same time, for the last 20 years, I've been dreaming about a German Shepherd, purebred German Shepherd named Deimos, and I've never been able to get one. So 20 years ago, I adopted. I was about to get a purebred German Shepherd, but instead we adopted this poor shepherd mutt that was tied to a tree. I called her Deimos, but it was a girl, so that just didn't fit. So in the end, her name was Astra. And then I had another shepherd mutt that was similar, also a girl, adopted. But I didn't get my Deimos. But 4 years ago, my best bro Jay, who's online here, thank you for going to the pub with me and convincing me to take your nephew's dog. And Deimos is my purebred German Shepherd that is living with us right now. He's 4 years old. He is brilliant. He is awesome. And yeah, it's been my dream to have a Deimos, and it's been my gamer tag ever since.
I love it. I love that. And I just want to touch base with people like that real quick. How you said 20 years ago, like people might not know your exact age. Not that it matters, like in retrospect, but like
Yeah, I'm 39.
39 years old, and this man plays games better than 14-year-olds on Fortnite.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't play Fortnite, but I'm realizing that my Twitch speed is much slower, so I prefer to put the OP down and you guys go do the firefight. I'll just move around and maneuver on the battlefield and let you guys do it. Honestly, Steppen has oh man, that guy's insane. I can't match most of you guys. You guys are just too kind.
Yeah, him and Briz definitely be tearing it up next level. And
Yeah, sure.
And another thing you brought up was the French thing. Like I was gonna surprise and try to woo you a bit with some French tongue, but like I told you, the accent wasn't coming off right. That sounded like a creep. I just left it alone.
It's all good, man.
So let's see. So you said 14 to 16 or 18 months ago you decided to turn your military life into an entrepreneurship.
So I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit, and I actually apply that in my full-time job in the military, making decisions, thinking outside of the box, and it's been very helpful for me.
You don't make it to lieutenant colonel without thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I guess I promote anyone these days. But, so for me, I've always had that itch. I really had that itch. And that itch really started about a year and a half ago when I was seeing the stuff I was doing. So I work in digital. I'm the digital transformation officer in one of the divisions of the Canadian Army. And I work with lots of different people, operators, with signalers, with executives, at all levels, from all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. And what I began to realize is that all these tools and gadgets and technologies don't mean anything. It all has to do with how you interact with people. When you go and talk to the troop on the ground, when you go talk to the client, when you go talk to figure out what is it that doesn't work. And then when you talk to them and you realize oh, I just need to be able to do this or access that, and let's provide you a solution. Let's work together. And I realized that I want to be able to do that more than just inside my organization. And I feel that I can have an impact on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a dreamer. My team got me a good idea fairy and a good idea fairy chart. I want to change the world. I want to change things so that we can have a better life. So we can spend more time playing music, painting, riding motorcycles, going to the pubs with friends. Another buddy of mine, we were talking just yesterday. We're thinking of starting a book club in a pub. So that's going to be the next project for next February. But yeah, so 15 months ago, I was like, yeah, I think I can do this. So I bought a website, started putting stuff together, kind of not haphazardly, but in the free time that I had outside of work, I started putting it together. And then in May of this year, my workload decreased by about 25% because over the last 10 years, we have different terms of service in the Canadian Army. So we have the regular force, that's the full-time. We have the reservists, which are the part-time. And then we have the full-time reservists. So that's me. I'm a full-time reservist. So at the same time as doing my full-time reserve gig, I was doing voluntary service with the part-time guys. So I wouldn't get paid extra. I'd be putting in about 15, 20 hours a week, pretty much for the last 10 years doing that. So when I got promoted in May, I stopped doing the voluntary service because you can't have two big honchos in the unit. So I took a step back to let my buddy lead. So my buddy Rob is now in command of our regiment. And because of that, not having 10 to 15 hours of work extra a week between May of 2023 and December 2023, that 10 to 15 extra hours has been spent on building my business. I could do more. Honestly, if I was disciplined and not procrastinating as much, I could do more. But that has been the game changer. So I incorporated in August of this year. First client down range, I think it was September. Got a couple of clients in the cooker, and for me, the most important piece of the puzzle is not letting down the people that I serve with and that I serve for. So I'm not popping smoke out of the military today, and I don't even expect to leave the military. Hopefully, they get to keep me for another 20 years. My plan is eventually to go back to part-time and to be an entrepreneur and being a businessman. Business person outside the organization while still serving, because I think the military is probably one of the most valuable things that we have in our society. It's a community. It's a community that we don't have anywhere else. It's a community, and it serves a very important purpose. We know that the world is becoming a more and more dangerous place. There's a lot of unknowns, and I'm pretty sure that you served yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a bit about your service. I'm going to flip this question interview around. Your service.
Not as decent, not as much as yours, that's for sure. You've definitely gone above and beyond that goal. I definitely never saw it as a career. I never would have made it to the status that you've made it to. And I never would have thought about doing anything digital. That especially with you being an infantryman as well, it's the fact that did you have a love for digital technologies prior to you being put into digital stuff, or?
So that's a good question. I've taken apart a computer once when I was a kid. I've never had issues installing and working on computers. I've never had an issue with it. Never been a bother. I've always liked technology, but I haven't been I'm not a coder. I tried coding stuff at the beginning of the pandemic to make whatever COVID app, and I failed miserably because I didn't have the patience. But it's not that difficult. But I think where I found my niche was the integration between the business and the operations and the technology and the people and the processes, because there's so much that we just need to flick a little switch here and there, and then everyone's lives get so much better. I mean, like, you must have Uber Eats. You must use Uber Eats, or you use Uber every once in a while.
Yeah.
Right. Remember before Uber Eats and before Uber, what it was like to call a cab, what it was like to order food? Like, what would you do? You'd go look through the phone book or online, see if they have a delivery service. Like, the world is changing, and those changes are not that significant. All it is it's a little bit of a user interface, a little bit of synchronization of data, connect your credit card.
Yeah.
Like, things are changing so fast, and I don't think that we even realize or can fathom how fast they're changing and what tomorrow is going to look like. So for me, I feel I have to do everything I can to help my organization be better, to be ready, to be that wall against our adversaries, so that we can keep living the life that we have. But I also see on the entrepreneurial side is that companies that don't decide to adopt modern ways of doing business and are stuck in the way they've done it for the last 30 years, they're going to be out of business in the next 12 to 24 months.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I got a two-part question to that then. So how do you feel the rise of technology has impacted the relationship between business and their customers? And then do you think the globalization of business will also impact opportunities and challenges in a good or bad way?
Okay, I'm going to start with the first one. So it's actually a double-edged sword. Technology, in my opinion, is a double-edged sword because you can make things super easy, but then you lose the humanity. You lose that face-to-face. And I had a virtual business card for the last 9 months, and I got rid of it. And now I have physical business cards with my phone number, my email address. So technology is a double-edged sword, but you have to remember that who is behind the technology is the people. And if you don't tailor that technology to the people, then you're going to waste money and you're going to go in a direction that it's just going to be thrown away. Look at the amount of apps that are in the App Store. There are
millions.
Hundreds. Yeah, there are millions of apps. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them that are fantastic. But how many are actually used? How many do you have on your phone? You've got like 30, 40, 50, 60 apps, and you only probably use about 5 or 10 of them. So I do believe that technology can connect us more, So I guess going to that globalization question, technology will make the world much more flat. We'll be able to access information. We'll be able to access each other. We already communicate. I mean, what part of the country are you in, Hugh?
I'm in Ohio.
You're in Ohio, so
Yeah,
you're like a couple thousand kilometers away, a couple thousand miles away from me. I'm in a different country, and I'm pretty sure people on this call, they're from Canada, U.S., around all over the world, and the people that technology brings those connections. That being said, that only takes you a part of the way. You have to take it all the way by actually sitting down with someone and having a talk and see how that technology impacts their lives. I think a good example is I think it's WeWork. They just went out of business a couple weeks ago. WeWork went out of business because they really leaned into technology and forgot about the people. They're treating the people real estate business as an app, and it's a scary thing. So it's, for me, I do believe that technology will bring us closer together, but we cannot forget there's people behind us.
Right. I agree 100% with that. There's no doubt about that at all. That's yeah. Now, your company that you have started, you guys help other companies digitally transform?
Yeah, so I don't really like the word digital transformation. I really don't like it. It's like a buzzword. It's just like everyone's using AI, and it's I feel the better way of saying it is modernizing your industry, modernizing your business.
So modernizing your business. I'll make sure to take a note of that. I don't mean to disrespect you.
No, so everyone uses digital transformation. It's a common term, and I'm doing a program right now, the professional education certificate at MIT in digital transformation. So it is a buzzword, but it is what you're trying to achieve is, how can a company be more efficient? How can an operation be more efficient? If your job in front of a computer is to copy paste text from an email into a PowerPoint, into a slide deck, into an Excel sheet, you've already lost the game. Why is someone sending you an email that you have to copy paste things 4 times? Why can't the source information? So if you're a farmer, if you're working in a greenhouse, why do you have to have someone to go and measure the size? So these modern greenhouses, why do you have to have someone to measure the size of the plant growth, or measure the temperature of that greenhouse, or the humidity? Why don't you just have a sensor that automatically inputs it to the database, or that automatically puts it onto a dashboard, so that the individuals that are controlling this complex are able to adjust those metrics to increase the growth? Because right now, there's a lot of processes are still pen and paper, and there's someone walking around. So it's one person walking around with a pen and paper that's entering that stuff into an Excel sheet, that's entered into a PowerPoint, and it's not that accurate, because there's the error of the individual entering it. There's sources of error that are just generated as you copy things from one to the next. So I do believe there's a lot of places that can optimize. Where it is, and another example is in the administrative assistants or secretaries. This is a scary concept, and I'm pretty sure it's very, very scary for a lot of people that work in this field. Like, what are their jobs going to look like in the next 12 to 24 months if the bosses all use an automatic booking tool? If you're using an automatic booking tool,
multi-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just rely on one way of life. Like, you know what I mean? Anytime any of our jobs could be taken from us, almost.
So it's an ethical dilemma. In my opinion, it's an ethical dilemma, because there are going to be jobs that are going to be automated in the next couple of years. So what do we do with this workforce? I believe that we need to harness talent and skills within that workforce, but these individuals might need to be ready to retrain themselves to do something different. So if we take secretaries or administrative assistants, I believe that they should be retrained in the technology sphere, because there are so many of them around the world that if a company is an ethical organization that decides to keep their workforce, wants to keep them meaningfully employed, but if they only need to do 10% of the work that they used to do, because everything's been automated. The executive books their own meetings. Transcription is fully automated, so you don't need to have a person typing letters anymore. So these people could become technologists. They could become the individuals that are running the Discord servers or running the Teams channel or Teams chat group, or organizing the information in a way that's more accessible. I believe there's a lot of potential if we approach this properly. But it is a very scary time for people and companies right now.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So real quick though, so do you have any kind of concerns, like since you're all into the digital world more, do you ever feel or do you ever see a possibility of a higher risk for cybersecurity or cyber, attacks or something like that if you're mainstreaming everything?
100%. Yeah. So the cyber threat surface right now is significantly increased with everyone being connected in the cloud. And the biggest problem is actually the weakest link. And the weakest link is your password that ends in password 1234 or admin or QWERTY or things like that. Or
but they make us add a number now.
It doesn't matter. So the factor complexity is not increased by adding a number. It's by increasing the amount of characters. So if you have a 3 or a 4 character password, that can be, I've got the data somewhere, but I'll see if I can pull it up. That can be cracked within a matter of seconds. But if you have a 25 character password, then that would take months, years to crack. So the key is multi-factor authentication. Put that on everything. Don't use the same password for everything. I sent out a message at work in the Army, because there's ransomware and there's things happening all the time.
Yeah, the ransomware is crazy.
And they treat it like it's a business. So these are criminal enterprises that operate like a business. And there's even ransomware for hire that you can go find on the dark web. So the only piece of advice I can say is don't use the same password for all your accounts. Multi-factor authentication. Increase the length. I use passphrases. Okay, so come up with an interesting phrase in your head that you're not going to share, and use that as your password with spaces.
Do you think? Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, at what point do you think that became the more like the criminal avenue? Like, if you think about 40, 50, 60 years ago, people would just walk up in banks, gun at gunpoint, give me all the money. Now people are holding, musicians' songs, like they'll leak people's music, leak people's, they're people used to get kidnapped. Yeah, people used to get kidnapped, like, give me $250K or you're not going to see your wife again. And now they're like, give me $250K or I'm going to leak all of your everything, all the way up to your nudes.
Because it's so easy. So what they do is they scrape the internet, and everyone that, just imagine in a city, or imagine a parking lot. If someone's trying to steal a car, they're not going to steal a car that's locked. They're going to go and see which car is unlocked. And the car that's unlocked, they're going to get into it. And then if it's a car that they can hotwire, they'll hotwire it.
But now they've got people, like, obviously you wouldn't have heard this story because it was in Chicago, in Illinois, Chicago, but they had these kids going around. They were like 15, 16, 17 years old kids, and they used to call them the BMW gang. And they had bought or finessed or something these keys, these lock keys, and they would literally just be able to walk up, click the unlock button to any BMW of that, that make and model, and it would unlock the car automatically. They wouldn't have to break in, wouldn't have to worry about if it was locked, unlocked. They could just walk in and instantly start the car up.
So that's the same thing with the Kias. They started being able to use like the ends of USBs. Yeah. You can take the panels off of Kias, and they're using like the ends of USB. Like, it don't even have to be plugged into nothing, and it just like it turns it, and it can power it. I don't know how the hell it works.
So at that rate, if you're mainstream and everything like that, do you not think that at some point you have to be a little, like what techniques do you guys use to make sure that you're not giving people that key, that fob, to just unlock the door to anybody's stuff at any time? I mean, besides the password, I understand the password stuff, but like, as your company, like what's your sell pitch to, like, hey, we're gonna help you digitalize your company to make it more safer, more this, more that, and like, how do you, like, what's that sweet spot that you get somebody in? Like, you told me really good, brokered in a new contract. What were some of the, without getting into too many details personally, what kind, what kind of pitches do you use to help someone understand where your company is going to help impact their growth and their performance?
So assume that you're being attacked all the time, every day, all the time. And you need to assume that your system is compromised. You need to treat yourself as if everything is always compromised. You need to assume that your home is accessible to the threat actors. So how do you mitigate that? You have a system in place where you lock something in your drawer, and only you can access the stuff in your drawer. So they've got to go through a couple of layers until they get to your drawer with your jewelry. Or in your house, you have a German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd walks around so that when someone comes into the front door and they're not recognized, they bark, and you have a monitoring system. So there's, or you put a lock on your door, or you put an alarm system on the house. So you layer, and the key is layering. And there's so many companies out there that provide some great solutions. And they honestly, it's a matter about layering the security, but also assuming that threat actors will find the vulnerabilities anytime they can. So one of the other things, other than multi-factor authentication, always update your software. Always have the most up-to-date software. If you have your iPhone that says, do you want to update your phone? You're like, I don't really want to. It's annoying. It's a couple gigabytes. Or your Windows computer, update it. Keep it updated, because without having it updated, what happens is these big companies, they are always trying to see if there are bugs in their security. And when they find them, they go and send an update to the users so that their systems are more secure. You have to assume that things are going to get leaked. So best practices, and honestly, there are going to be things that are going to happen, but it's more of a rarity than the courage, because these threat actors don't want the trouble. They just want the easy solution. They're going to go into the car that's unlocked. They're going to go into the house without a German Shepherd. Right. So it's you have to take this as a multi-factor approach. You need to ensure that assume that everything's always at risk, and then just act accordingly. So act a bit differently. It's also good to. We're kind of privileged in North America. We have relative safe infrastructure, and we have accessible to us a lot of different tools. I mean, the Microsoft, the Google, the Amazon tools, they provide just by default a bunch of security processes that will protect your information. And Google Drive, that stuff is super secure. The only way you can get access to that, Google doesn't even have access to your Google Drive documents. So the only way that you can access, someone else can access that if they get your password. If your password is admin1234.
Fair enough. I can see that. So, are those just some of the lower challenges that you got? Like, what are some of the bigger challenges that you face establishing yourself, establishing your company as the go-to for
new technology, I would assume?
Yeah, so
I always got to update.
Sorry, it's Albo, right?
Albo. Yeah, Albo. Yeah, my name's Timmy.
Oh, Timmy, your mic is really loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So what was your question, Timmy?
No, I was just saying, like, it's probably 50-50. Like, it don't matter how good of security that you got. If you're not updating it and keeping up with it, you're on your own, and it don't matter how good the other side is, it can potentially always be getting in trouble. Yeah, so the threat actor enterprises are always looking for new ways, and it's a constant fight. And I'm not trying to pretend that I'm hyper knowledge in the cybersphere. That's what I have some really, really smart people that advise me on this. But it's almost like a cat and mouse game. Like, one person designs one thing and finds a vulnerability, and then they find a patch for it, and it goes back and forth, patch vulnerability. So you have to just do the best you can to make yourself not a soft target. Because if you're not a soft target, they're going to go for the soft targets, and therefore that increases your security.
So are you a money and material person? Like, do you like to have like gold and physical type of wealth?
I wish I did, but I have a teenager and I have a dog and I have a beautiful wife, and so for me it's keeping the family fed, making sure everyone has what they need. Don't get me wrong, when things go well, there will be some material things that will come down the pipeline, but I think the most important thing is to make sure the family's well taken care of, parents.
Right. I just didn't know if you're more of an insight on how quick things can just get wiped. I just didn't know if you were more of a. I like to have things as a in person. This is what I own instead of with just some numbers and dots and digits and.
Oh, you're talking about like banks and
like yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I'm all in the bank, and then and if we have to go full on Day Z, then I just call Jay, and then we'll be good to go.
Jason Tweets got you.
Exactly, he's got me.
I love it.
He's got a big Jeep and a couple motorcycles, so we're good to go.
What was the movie? Mad Max in it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how do you, as an older gentleman, if you excuse me for my being but how do you stay up to date with the innovation and the technology and the all of it?
I read.
You read?
Yeah. I read. Yeah, no, I read. I talk to smarter people than me.
As you should.
I try to surround myself with people that know more than me. I'm very curious. I ask a lot of questions, and if something doesn't make sense, I'll say it. And that makes people uncomfortable sometimes. I don't think that makes sense, and I think that you're wrong. Explain to me why you're right. I think the important thing is reading and communicating.
Communication for sure.
Yeah, and trying to learn more yourself. So I'm doing the course right now with MIT Professional Education, and that has been giving me. I just finished one of the modules. I've got another one that's starting right now, Cloud and DevOps. It's very, very interesting stuff. And if you guys ever get the opportunity, definitely take every opportunity you have to learn more and to just upskill yourself so that you are more competitive in the workforce.
Where do you see your company in 10 years?
Very successful. In 10 years, that's a very good question.
I mean, in 10 years, I'll be your age. You'll be 50 on the. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a good.
In 10 years, I wanted to be converted into a scuba diving, motorcycle riding resort thing in Costa Rica or somewhere in the Caribbean.
You're trying to musk it up.
Yeah. So, like for me, I do believe that the end game is to be comfortable, to live on the beach somewhere, to be able to travel. I do believe that leaving something behind, but that's a bit of a loaded question for me for 10 years from now. I have a lot of dreams. I don't want to jinx them too much. I want to be successful. I want to be a successful company that is benefiting myself, benefiting my society, and I do believe benefiting us as people that are living around here.
So you said you had a son, and them are they following in your steps of being in service and
Yep. He's 17 years old. He's not answering his phone, so I have no clue where he is right now. But he sounds like a 17-year-old. Yeah, at least it's that. But yeah, he's in something called the Air Cadets in Canada. He's going to be doing flight training next summer. He's going to be flying a glider, so it's a plane without an engine. I did that when I was his age, so he's sort of doing that, but we'll see if he gets lost and joins the infantry, or if he goes to the Air Force and see what happens.
Gets lost, gets found, and goes to the infantry. You mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So it's exciting, man. I'm glad that we were able to do this. It means a huge bunch. It means everything that you were able to get on the first one, and the fact that obviously. Had to go off to Plim and had to go off to the other guys that are in the upper echelons of the 508, like Baron and them guys that have kept the blood flowing through that thing. But the fact that you guys are able to manage life, manage your jobs, then manage your passions, and then get on the Discord group and manage all of the degenerates that we play with is just insane.
Oh my goodness, Discord was a full-time job, honestly. So I ran that for the first 6 months. But then, Plum is my number 2. But I was like, I can't. I have my life is just too chaotic to be able to do all of that at the same time. It's really rewarding though. I mean, the relationships we've made over the last 12 months. We've been around since June July 4th. Our birthday's July 4th.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. That's wild. We've been around since July 4th, 2022.
Yeah, it's been a trip for sure. And the people, and that's what I keep trying to, every new recruit guy that comes through into this thing, or, anybody that ever asks you about Discord or any of that stuff, I always tell them it's about, same thing in life. It's what you make it. You can come in with your head down and play the game and find people to run with, whatever. But then you could also, when Crimson Trident itself first broke out, started selling merchandise, man, a lot of these guys were some of my first customers. They didn't know, never met me in real life, never met, anything about that, but they were willing to support, just from being in the Discord group, bro. And that's really what that led me to want to do this, or to tell this story in a sense of this Discord and the guys that are in it. The fact that you can bring vets, current service members, McDonald's workers, Irishmen, Canadians, Americans, anything.
Yeah,
we all come together.
We have a trauma surgeon in the community.
Yeah, guys.
We have a trauma surgeon. We have a U.S. Army trauma surgeon that's one of the lead trauma guys. It's wild. It's very different than 20 years ago. We're not the gamers of 20 years ago. That's for sure.
Not at all. Not at all. And I love the comfortability that comes from this, man. Like I was saying, I was literally talking to the guys to do this podcast, and I was telling them, I was like, man, to think if he was an American lieutenant colonel in the American military, I would never be able to get this opportunity, man. So it's just crazy to me, the level of,
I disagree. I'm pretty sure, I'm 97% sure there's American lieutenant colonels that are playing video games right now.
Not that would hop on here and talk to me. There's not. I can promise you there's not.
I beg to differ. I can promise you the world is changing. No, if they were part of our community, I wouldn't be surprised if Cox is a colonel. I would not be surprised. The guys.
You think so?
Oh yeah, docs, they promote them fast, 100%.
We'll have to ask him. We'll have to get him on here. He won't be able to tell me about any of his missions, but
no, you don't ask him about that kind of stuff. But 100%, you'd be surprised. The world is changing. The world really is changing, and this is a community like any other. Back in the day, everyone had churches. Everyone had their bowling league. Everyone had their baseball league. Mm-hmm. We don't in Canada. We don't have that anymore. So my only community is my regiment and the Canadian community.
What do you guys do for fun up there?
Well, right now we're hibernating. It's
yeah, I'm sure you are. I have no doubt you guys are December 22nd. So, it's probably -5 up there.
So for the last decade, my fun was going out with the boys on the weekend on winter exercises, and then exhausted on Sunday night, and then come back to work on Monday. But yeah, so there's winter activities. Some people do sports. We got the gym, but what do people do for fun? It really is unique. What do people? Maybe you should ask me. What do I do for fun?
Apparently you're just a work robot, man. Apparently all you do is devote your life to your community and technology.
My friends have a tendency of telling me that.
Yeah. See? It's not just me.
It's not just you. Yeah. So try to spend more time with the wife and with the dog. Teenager, he's on his own right now, doing his own thing. I love going out in the outdoors. Honestly, it was 2 summers ago. We went canoe camping for a teenager and I, and that was spectacular. We went up north in the middle of nowhere, 60 kilometers with a canoe with all of our kit. And that kind of stuff. That's real Canadian stuff. Pretty sure real American stuff too. We have such beautiful countries. We sometimes take it for granted.
Now, Canada's got the most lakes, right? Most natural lakes for country, or as it sits anyway?
Yeah, we got a lot.
That's dope. That is dope.
I would definitely love to visit. I've got that on the bucket list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of nice places.
Weren't you a part of the fires, too? Real quick, I wanted to ask you about that, too, because I feel like I remember you were kind of touching in and out of the 508 Discord for a minute because you were trying to put out all those fires. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so one of the roles and responsibilities we have in the military is to support local governments if they ask for help. And Canada, there was forest fires insane this summer. So yeah, we supported them. We had troops that deployed. My team supported deploying some tech to help them manage the command and control piece. So it's a lot of work. especially when guys have been training all year and ready for their good, well-earned summer break. When the forest fires happens and then it's like all leaves canceled, let's get back to work, boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard work, honestly. When times get tough, but the wonderful thing is our troops are all ready to do the job when asked.
Now you guys are broken out like in provinces or
yeah, pretty much provinces. We got about across the country. We got forces from left coast, east coast to the west coast.
Nice. And it's all pretty much not urbanized, but it's like, do you guys just have like Vancouver, Ottawa, like these big cities, and then country, or is it fairly spread out through the entire or the northern part of the continent?
You're talking about population?
Yeah, like your population diverse, like where's like per capita, I guess I'd say. I don't know how to put that question.
I think most of our population is within 200 kilometers of the U.S. border. Everyone else, like the rest of it is sparse and interspersed.
Interesting.
You're our biggest trade partner.
Well, I would imagine so. Without, I mean, I feel like it goes both ways. Without you guys, we would be nothing. Without us, you would be nothing.
You guys are also 10 times as big as us.
You're right. You're right. It's kind of crazy how it all formed out. Like how it all played out. You had the Dutch were over here, and then you had the French, and then you had the Brits, and then you guys ended up just kind of hanging out.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm glad we have the partnership that we have. I couldn't imagine being at war with you guys every other year. Like that would just be terrible.
Oh no, honestly, and we're always talking about it. Like, we need to work more together. I mean, it's just so easy. Like, well, I'd love to train more with you guys, and I'm pretty sure the same thing. Like, honestly, like, why do we need to do things differently?
And it's funny because we never will ever expect anything from the North like that. Like as a disagreement type of work. End of the day, like, and it's funny because no matter where crap takes off or where pardon my language, where shit hits the fan, it's like we've always got the North American guys together. Like it's always we know that you guys are there, and like you guys don't really go pick fights, so I can't say we've always got your back. So but you guys are always there when we're picking fights. It seems like
it's a relationship, right? Like we've been.
Yeah, it is.
It's so annoying. All the boys are right now chatting in our single chat group, and it's distracting me. They're like making Doomsday Dave. So,
do you personally think you'll see the complete fall of the West in your lifetime? Like not political wise, just like lifestyle wise?
I had something to do about it.
Well, I mean, obviously. I'm just saying, like, do you see the downward kind of decline in the Western world, or do you think that at some point your thought of not world peace, because I don't think that there will ever personally be world peace, but do you think that the technology, with it being that, like, for instance, how we can talk, and in my mind and in our media, it portrays that everyone's just so disconnected from each other, that there's always everybody's at each other's throat, that this and that. Do you think that your way of technology, looking at it, like the optimistic side will prevail, or do you think that more, it'll just keep oh my God, I'm getting tongue tied. Do you think it'll keep declining? Like cyber attacks will lead to I don't trust you.
I honestly believe that it's up to us. It's up to us, and I think that we can. I think we can affect that change, and we can. I think that the way of life that we have could be shared by all. We have something fantastic, let's say in the West. We complain about something. We complain about our political parties. If that's all we're complaining about, and we're not fighting about it too much, I think we're good.
Right. You're right.
Honestly, I think that if we can share this, I'm not sure if the concept of how do I say it? I think that if we can share what we have with the rest of the world, I think we'd be a bit better off. And if everyone has, maybe everyone will need to have a little bit less. But I do believe that we are getting closer and closer together. Technology is bringing us closer together, whether organizations want it or not. It's just the natural thing. We see everything that's coming out of the Middle East and Ukraine. We see everything that's coming out of almost every part of the world. You can just go on a Reddit channel or Discord channel, and you can talk to anyone. So we're getting to a point where everything's out in the open, and it's just a matter of organizing that and how can we help our decision makers make the right decisions for the betterment of our society.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the slippery slope there though is the sharing compared to imposing.
Yeah. So I'm an open book. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. But then there's a certain point. I mean, yeah, I said I won't go into politics, so I'm not going to talk about.
I didn't lead you into it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I'm not opposed to what you're saying, but at the same time, I do believe. My buddy Ty says I'm sound pro. Like, no, I don't. Okay, I'm just talking. Yeah. So, big scheme. I think we just need to try to be better. Be better to the people around you. And if you influence the people around you, those groups are going to get influence the groups around them. And communities like ours at 508, communities that we have with our churches, with our militaries, with our bowling teams, just be good to the people around you and try and help each other out in any way you can.
So speaking of which, that does bring up the topic of the first 508 meetup. That's got to be on top of the game coming up, I'd imagine.
Oh my goodness, I went to New York City last month and I almost met Marin. He was like, oh no, you're going to get stuck in traffic. And I was like, okay. So I went to the airport and I sat in the airport by myself for 2 hours and I could have met Marin.
Oh, you should have took the subway.
I took the subway. I took the subway to and from where I was going. Oh yeah.
And he said you get stuck in traffic. Man, I tell you right now, I'd have ran and met you. Yeah, the chance to meet Deimos would have been too much.
Yeah, but I might be going to Texas in March. I'm trying to finagle that. But yeah, we definitely need to have a 508 meetup. I know Ace.
That would probably have to be the one then, because half the group is in the central and east.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of guys in Florida, a bunch of guys in Texas. I know Clem is from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually potentially going.
Yeah, Clem will get.
I'm probably going to his hometown in March. So we'll see what.
Hey. That's exciting. Yeah, Clem, I don't think Clem, you guys better not keep that to yourselves. Hopefully you guys release that.
As soon as I get confirmation that I'm going, I'll definitely release the group.
Yeah, because that'll be tight. I can already see a 50-60 group, 50-60 people showing up.
That'd be insane to 50 guys.
Dude, I promise you, at least 50 or 60 people.
That's insane. That'd be pretty cool, though.
And the other half that can't come is because they either have to work or they're across the pond.
Or we do it somewhere central U.S. Like,
I can't think of anywhere cool central U.S. though. Where's a cool spot in the central U.S.? Well, you wouldn't even know like.
I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to the Tail of the Dragon, which is in Tennessee, I think.
Tail of the Dragon. Tennessee. Yep, it's in Tennessee. Apparently, that's a
spot for some nice motorcycling. You want to go there for a long time.
Yeah. It's a biker thing.
Yeah. They've got a.
Well, that is cool. I wonder if it's near Gatlinburg or something. If it's near Gatlinburg, then you could possibly do a meetup around Gatlinburg, Tennessee. That's a well-known central area. Well, I mean, that's all the questions I got for you. I feel like I talked your ear off.
Oh, that's awesome. That's been like 53 minutes.
Yeah, we got to know. Yeah.
So what's the next plan, Keaton? What's the next step for Skidoo Lounge?
So this is I want to get Plim on next because I feel like it kind of only makes sense to do who initiated it all, and Plim, who is somehow able to manage his life and still do the 200 something managed member Discord group. And then my third episode is going to be a local person I know who's a book author. He's released books. He's a musician. And then my fourth one, if I can talk them into it, I would like to have Kaze and Tommy on for like a philosophical kind of just history talk for about an hour or so on that. Mainly because when we were originally talking about making this a live thing a year ago, they were the guys that were in there talking with me about it. So I want to get them in there early on. And just keep growing it. And it's funny that you brought that up because Kaze brought up something interesting too about an idea to kind of broaden the 508 community and what we bring into a sense. But they've got, hella loose Reddits and all this other stuff. it would be cool to see if other groups have people in that want to come onto the podcast and talk about, their Discord group or, what it's like for them and, all that good stuff. So, to be honest, man, it's not back to the drawing board, but it's definitely back to the strategizing because who knows, there's so many more avenues, so much networking to do. I'm just excited to keep knowing the guys within the unit itself. That's the big thing about this, getting to know the devils more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all so diverse and from all walks of life. It's just something that I've been wanting to do for a long time now, and this seems like the best, easier way for. It's kind of like adrenaline spotlight thing, but live. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, it's awesome, Keaton. Like, congratulations on launching this. I mean, it's you got to be proud of yourself, and this is a great initiative. I know it took a lot of work, and we've been back and forthing it for the last month, troubleshooting. I really hope one day we could do a podcast while we're both gaming together. That would be amazing. Remember we tried to do that, but just wasn't working?
We will, yeah. And we, as soon as we can do that, man, we'll have you back on and do it again. Episode 2.
Like, that would almost be like we could do that every other week or something. That would be insane if we can get it to work.
I'll have to check into that more. Maybe when I get more of a setup, we can work something like that out for sure.
I've been researching more and more.
But there must be a way to have two Twitch streams.
I was gonna say, I have
streams in the same stream. You know?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I would like to think so.
I think that we need to get PCs for that, though. I don't want a PC for all the people that.
Not a big PC by myself.
I don't have the patience for it.
But yeah, other than that, man, I think this went great. I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. I couldn't have asked for a better dialogue. I couldn't have asked for a better guest.
Sweet. So when is the Spotify going to come out? How long?
Tomorrow. Literally by the end of the day tomorrow.
That's fast. Yeah. Doesn't Spotify have to do some vetting after?
No, we've already got the channel, like the, what do you want to call it, like the parent-child. Algo Audio is the one that releases all the stuff. So we've got like Faded Thoughts, Peculiar Parts. We've got a couple different podcasts that are already on.
Yeah.
So adding one.
Yeah, I already got the Skidoo set up, so we'll just do a little bit of editing, set everything up where it sounds pretty good, and have it up there. It shouldn't, like he said, it shouldn't take. Definitely by like tomorrow evening.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, because I'll definitely be sharing it once it comes out. But that's awesome, Keaton and Timmy. Like, you guys did a great job. Thank you for having me on this. And we got to get back into the Hell At Loose battle space sooner than later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate your time, man.
All right, Keaton. Have a great night. Thanks to everyone that was here.
You too, bro.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, man.